Welcome, guys, to Rebel Rock. I am Dan. I am your host. Next to me is Nick Grandchamp, and below is Richard Bryan Kahn. And we're here to talk rock and roll. We got a fun show because I did some thrifting today. We found some brand new music here that I've never heard. It's not brand new, but it's new to me. And we're going to discuss it a little bit later. But before we get to that, we're gonna shoot the shit a little bit, catch up, because it's been a long week for everyone, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Long week, man. Long week. Been just kind of working in my world. We had 3 new hires at work. One of them lasted a day, which, sometimes, though, it's better to know right from the start, right? Than know if this person's down from day one. Because sometimes it sucks you get 2 or 3 months in and then they're like, GW, always great to see you. So 1 didn't work out, 2 are working out, but I'm there left, still pick up the slack. Besides that, just trying to relax and spend some time relaxing because it's been hard to have some me time. So how about
Richard
you?
Bryan Kahn, how about yourself? You were busy this week, weren't you?
Well, here where I live, there's a festival that's like 8 days, and it started last Saturday. It's called Plein Air, and it's like artists come here and they sit on the street and they draw stuff, like paint stuff on easels, like literally all around town. And it's 8 days, and
wow,
they're in there eating lunch, and we've been getting pounded a little bit. Not really at night. It's more like a daytime thing. But these people, they're coming in from all over the place and staying for a couple of days here and there. And we're obviously an inn, so people can stay there. So, they're not all eating there, but they're going other places. But it's kind of annoying. It's hot, man. It's so hot and annoying. And being in the kitchen when it's hot and even outside hot, it's just like,
Yeah, it's no fun. I mean, I'm in the same boat. It's 55 hours after 55-hour week. I mean, I'm losing track of how many weeks in a row I've done it, but my mind's starting to go on me. Like, I just work. That's all I do. That's all I can recall.
and
So
like, I'm sorry.
I'm not able to go thrifting. I'm not able to do really anything. I'm so out of whack. So today was nice to get out. It was my day off. So we did find some stuff, which is kind of cool, especially music. CDs lately, I'm hitting home run after home run on just finding random CDs of bands that you really don't see really in the wild that often.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I haven't. I struck out the thrift all the week. I didn't find anything. I did find this old Thought of You Celtics cup, Boston Celtics cup, but it was like $3 and I didn't have anything else I wanted. And I'm like, it's a maybe. And I was like, unless I find something else, I'm not gonna buy a $3 Celtics cup. So.
Yeah, $3 is a little too much for a cup.
Yeah,
Terrible. Here, I just posted a video yesterday. I know you saw that, Dan, of that was it of the video games my Goodwill's trying to sell, and it's like.
Yeah, so you say your Goodwill before had pulled all the games to sell online essentially, but now they're putting them back in store. But the problem is they're putting like $7 and $12 tags on games that are worthless. Really, no one wants
Dollar games. Like no one will even buy them. So, they were still there today. I went. I was like, yeah.
I mean that WarioWare game.
Yeah,
maybe
I should have grabbed that. If you collect weed and that's $7, that's a good deal. But I have it, so I'm not worried. I'll leave it there for someone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've gotten so many CDs that I mean, it's overrun. I've probably picked up like 100 CDs this week. I feel like.
Wow.
We should do a show on that.
I mean, the problem is, it's like it gets to the point where it's too many CDs, and you can't even I don't even know where to put them to store them until we show them. But I mean, I'm just gonna go over a couple right now, just because, well, all we did was work all week, so we don't have a whole lot to say. But let's see if you guys are familiar with any of these bands. Throwing Muses.
Heard the name. Never.
Yeah.
That's one of those. I think it's an alternative rock band. I think from the '90s, if I had to guess. But it's one of those bands I've never heard. But the name is very. I've seen the name a million times.
I've just never heard listened to them, but I've heard them definitely.
I've been on a tear lately of finding Tribe Called Quest, and this is Low End Theory.
Nice.
Which is such a classic. I mean, all Tribe Called Quest stuff is timeless.
Amazing. Q-Tip Solo stuff was not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's solid. He's great. We found Roxy Music, the Atlantic Years.
I've never even listened to any of that. I'm just confused of what Roxy Music is. Yeah.
Well, it was obviously Brian Ferry and Brian Eno.
Oh, okay. Eno.
That was their creation early on, and then Eno split off because I don't know what the deal was, but
so Atlantic Record Years is pretty much what they're saying.
Yeah, 73 through 1980. So that's a pretty solid find. Roxy Music's one of those. It's an acquired taste. It gets lumped in with the glam stuff, but the problem is, to me, it doesn't sound like the rest of the glam stuff. So it's a little more progressive, a little more artsy.
I'll put that on my list, definitely.
Yeah, RBK. It's probably more up your alley, if anything. For me, it's at moments a little too experimental, where I'm like, it's a bit too much and weird. But at the same time, they're cited as one of the greatest of all time for that time period.
Never see their stuff, to be honest.
No, it's pretty uncommon to come across. We got a Cyndi Lauper.
Nice.
Yeah, pro wrestling icon too.
True enough. Speaking of Brian Eno, we found a Brian Eno CD. Unfortunately, it didn't have the front cover, but it has the back cover and the spine.
Should give you a discount for that.
It's no, it was, but 50 cents is 50 cents. I actually listened to this today in the car. Really, really good. Like, I was impressed. It was because we know Eno's a little bit all over the place. He can be just experimental noise, or it can be a full song stuff like this album where it's clever pop songs with atmosphere. One of the coolest ones I found today was this Miles Davis record.
Oh wow!
I have that on vinyl, bro. It's a good one.
But this is later, right? This is like 1985.
But that cover, man, he's like, "I'm gangster, bitch."
I know, that's what threw me off. I'm like, why does he have a gun?
I don't know. I thought the same thing when I found that. I'd never seen it before, years ago. But I still have that on vinyl. It's not amazing or anything, but it's late in his career.
Yeah, just the novelty of it, really.
That's pretty awesome, though, to find CD.
Yeah, so that was the first little bunch right there. Lincoln saying no such thing as too many CDs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Got the space and the place.
GW loves Tribe Called Quest. But he was just in New York City.
Yes, he was. He had a gig. It's awesome.
Doing some comedy in New York City, which is, that's a big deal to head to the city to do some of that.
Back at it, GW. It's awesome.
Crazy Joe saw Tribe and Beastie Boys live.
Wow.
You talk about a good show. I wonder what year that was. Crazy Joe, what year was that? Remember? Baltimore Retro Gaming, what's up? We're just hanging out, talking some music, some pickups. I've got a ton of rap albums at the flea market. They're so cheap right now. It's true. They really are 50 cents, 25 cents, and people are just they're unloading them. And I'm so curious, in the future, are these things gonna come back at all like vinyl did?
They have to, because there's some shit on CD you can't get anywhere else. Especially local stuff like we've been playing on here. You can't get that stuff anywhere else. It all depends. It's going to hit a time that young kids are going to want CDs like we want, we wanted our youth, it'd be that 30-year gap, they say. Because you move out of the house at 18 and your 20s, all you care about is getting with the booty, either if you're, whatever, And then you get married in your 30s or you get settled down. And you're like, all right, there's got to be something else besides the booty.
Well, and you have extra income, so it's then you want to go back and collect something odd and weird, and like that's how it started with a lot of these CDs. I lost a lot of my collection, then I slowly started getting it back, and now I'm obviously pedal to the metal. I've got everything I ever had and more on top of it, which is great. And the fact that I was spending $15 a CD back in the day, now I'm spending $15 and I'm walking away with a massive stack.
Dude, yeah, it's crazy to think about it. I mean, CDs were even like the early 2000s, CDs were getting up to like some like brand new releases were like $18.99, $19.99. It was getting a little.
Oh, it was hairy. Yeah, to spend almost $20 on a CD was crazy, but you had to do it, and it was like a badge of honor if you had it. You could like show it, loan it to your buddies, like make a copy of it, bootleg it, do whatever you want. But
Napster and Kazaa came, and I remember being like, all right, no more. I know it's a little shitty, but
Anybody remember when CDs were like in a long box?
Yeah.
Was at the top?
Yeah.
So you couldn't steal them.
Oh yeah, obviously. It was so bizarre to me before I ever had a CD player in stores.
Crazy Joe saying it was the Hello Nasty album for the Beastie Boys. So early 2000s. That was a CD I bought day one. Hello Nasty. I remember hopping in the Saab.
Everybody.
The 1986 Saab and just blaring that album.
Yeah, I don't care who you were back then. You were rocking that Beastie Boys. It was dope. Like for that time period, it was like the shit. Obviously.
Yeah.
There's like 20 tracks on that album, I think, or more.
It's a really, really long album, and it really is solid, And if you were into punk rock, alternative music, anything that was in that realm, like Beastie Boys fit right in there too. So you had to have it.
That Mix Master Mike video where he's like wearing the suit, he comes in with the table and he just comes in. They're like in that room. That was amazing.
Yeah, it really is. The long box was to fit the record slot at the store, I heard. All right, so
I don't even see them ever.
It used to have the big security fucking things on it. I mean, giant security thing where you had to open it up. And, the CD was like, Jesus. I mean,
yeah.
I had a friend, Joey, who he used to go to the Diamond Red Mall because they used to be like a mall rat for a while. And he would go to Kmart, steal a razor blade at Kmart, and then go into FYE and then take the fucking security tags off. That was after they got rid of the giant fucking thing. They just went with the little barcode on the back so it'd go off. Because they got sick of paying for those giant fucking plastic. It's almost like plastic shield. Those are getting ridiculous. They're like, all right, let's put the sticker on it. They want to take this little Bow Wow CD, take it.
I used to have a friend at school. I would pay him like $5 to steal CDs for me, and he would. He stole me like the first Foo Fighters CD for $5. Like it was great. I had a little system going on there.
I never stole music, but my friends got in trouble doing it. I stole other shit, but I never stole music. It's fine. I like knew better. Like, oh, there's tags on those things.
Some more CDs I found this week. We found this Rod Stewart, Sing It Again, Rod, which is a kind of a collection and kind of a weird one. I have this on vinyl, and it's actually cut out like the glass shape.
You like where he sang in a band before that too.
Oh, I love the Faces. Yeah. I love Small Faces. I love Faces. I love Rod Stewart's is one of my favorites all time. He's definitely in my top 10. Those solo albums he did in the 70s, you can't beat them. So organic sounding.
I must have said Rob Stewart.
We found a Dylan.
Oh, nice.
Bring It All Back Home, which is a great album. And the problem is I have these albums like 4 times over. I keep buying them because I'm like, I can't leave Dylan records. Mm-hmm. My favorite Dylan record I found, Times They Are Changing. Every morning for a solid year, I would take a shower, and this was the soundtrack. Every morning I'd start my day. I don't know why. I don't know why that was, but it just felt right. Made me feel smart. Highway 61 Revisited.
That's one I like.
Yeah.
He's got a few I like really, really dig.
Found the Juno soundtrack, which is really good, actually. It's got a great lineup here. Kim A. Dawson from Moldy Peaches is on here. Bell and Sebastian, The Kinks, Cat Power, Mott the Hoople.
Cat Power, I forgot.
Yeah. So I've never seen Juno. Have you seen Juno? Anyone seen?
I've seen it. I just don't remember.
It's all right. People like it a lot more than I think. It's just like it's all right. It's got that like indie vibe kind of.
Sure, I got that in Redbox.
Yeah.
Lincoln's saying he loves Rod Stewart, and I like to hear that. Everyone should love Rod Stewart. I know he gets a bad rap for the stuff in the 80s a little bit. He got a little cheese, and now he does all this singer classic, tunes, which is really lame. But in the 70s, there was no one cooler.
What the hell is he doing nowadays? There's shit about him.
He just releases like all American standards, so he's pretty much like Tony Bennett, where it's like he's kind of a crooner. He wears a suit and he goes up and sings all these traditional, jazz numbers and what else, but it's all covers, and it's really kind of lame, which is unfortunate.
He's got to do an album with Lady Gaga.
Yeah. Crazy Joe said he slept on Rod, but he digs it.
Some good stuff, actually. Don't sleep.
Robert Benson. I always buy Dylan when I see it. I have multiple copies of most of his albums. All right, so I'm not alone in this deal where it's just it feels right. I'm like, I can't leave it. I feel like I need to give it to someone and be like, this can change your life,
Sure, yeah, he's one of the guys that probably truly do.
Young Turks is a really good song, and that's a little bit later, Rod, and that actually holds up really well.
It's a great song.
Speaking of great, we found this. Let's see if we can see it. 38 Special.
Ah.
I forgot how many hits 38 Special had. It's Back to Paradise, which I think was on Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
I want to say it's in the opening credits for that, but that was a little bit later for their career. Hold On Loosely, which everyone knows. That's a huge song.
I didn't know that was them. That's funny.
Rockin' the Night Away. You've heard it a million times. It's a massive hit too.
Is that 80s?
No, it was 79. 79, 80 was like their real heyday for hits. Those early albums, just chock full of them.
About the special.
And we also found this Robert Johnson anthology, but it's like a French-Canadian release.
Gee.
Nice.
So different and cool. That was pretty much the haul right there for the most part. I got one more that we're going to talk about, and that will be the main substance of this episode. But that's just obviously just a part of the pile that I grabbed right off the top just to get through.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of wins there, man. I mean, so much to think about. Yeah. Rod Stewart, GTA.
GTA was big for soundtracks. It's like the Tony Hawk games. It's the same thing. Like it turned so many people on to reggae music, to hip hop, to metal, to all kinds of different music that they normally wouldn't listen to. Vice
City is my favorite stuff. Like just driving around that car listening to 80s music.
Oh, right.
Just do that and just shoot random people.
They got the atmosphere right, those games. Yeah.
What's up, Jeff?
Jeff, what's up?
Lincoln saying Robert Johnson is great too. I mean, anytime you can find like the classic blues stuff, it's like the classic jazz stuff. You got to swoop it up. Even if you don't understand or appreciate it at the moment, down the road you will eventually if you stick with it.
Absolutely.
Richard Brian Kahn, I'm sure you've come across a bunch of albums where maybe the first listen you're like, I don't know about this.
I'm a big, well, yeah, of course, all the time. I'm a big jazz head though, so I always pick up those records too, stuff like that. You're just picking up. I will grab that stuff.
So yeah, I guess we're 20 minutes in. I think we can get to the main event here, which this is the last CD that I found, and it was weird. It was in a small town in Vermont. There's a thrift store there, so I go once a month, and the fact that this was sitting in there was kind of odd. I'm like, okay, it was 25 cents, and the CD and the band is Beat Union. That's the name. So you can see right there, it's got like the broken phone on there. On the back, you can see it's got like a the old payphone. Disconnected is the name of the album, and right away I'm looking at the back. I'm like, oh, what's all this about? I'm like, I remember this band, but I don't remember this band. It was released in 2008 on a label called Science, which no clue, right? Science Records. So I pop it in the CD player, and this is the first song that I heard. I'm gonna play it right now, and I just want your impressions. We'll play it for like 45 seconds to a minute, and we'll see what you guys think. All right.
Let's do it.
Here with us now, we have 4 bright young lads coming to us all the way from Birmingham, England. Please welcome to our studio, Beat Union.
Sound you can't ignore. This goes round. You know what's more. DJ, hear me. You know it's so sick. It's what we all need. Oh, whoa, we can't stop the radio. You hear the sound playing loud this stereo. Oh, whoa, we can't stop the radio. Play some cool sense, play for my daddy-o. Signal.
Well, interesting. Right away, right when I heard the name, I could picture like a band like that, kind of oi, or maybe like kind of like English beat. But that was strange because kind of started off like I thought it would in a way, but they like the backing vocals like doing this like emo, like mid emo kind of like effect on the voice. You know what I mean? That like they did that like the red jumpsuit apparatus shit.
Yeah, no, like Say Anything, like a lot of those bands where that was the first thing I noticed right away. I'm like, wait a minute here. Like the look of it, the visual look, it screams like The Jam, 1979, Elvis Costello. It's got kind of that groove to it. And then all of a sudden the backing vocals come in and you're like, wait a minute. And the production of it, it's very 2008. It was trying to be part of that time.
Yeah, and it's like 2 different bands. Like that guy kind of has that, pretty boy look. So he's like, yeah, like I'm the emo guy that's playing in this, like, a bunch of my skinhead friends kind of want to make a kind of mainstream but little edgy thing, but I'll bring this emo. But it totally has that feel. That's crazy you said that. RBK.
They're all like in unison on their like Telecasters. I like that. I think listen to that song and not watch that video first, it would be different because they're giving you a lot of visual, I think, in that video.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think it's bad by any means.
Yeah. I mean, weird.
No, and I didn't think so either. And that was the thing. I'm like, okay, it's not terrible, but there was something that was kind of lacking. But then I was like, let me do some research on these guys. Let me look them up. They're obviously, where do you think they're from?
California, that from London.
Yeah, they're from America.
No, they're from the UK.
Really?
Yep, that's an English band right there. That's not an American band.
Okay.
Oh.
Which was kind of odd. Then I did some more research. I'm like, who produced this record? It's John Feldman from Goldfinger.
Really?
The ska punk band Goldfinger.
Yeah,
that guy was known as a big producer. So it kind of started to make some sense. I'm like, all right, that it goes hand in hand. Then I listened to another track, and let me pull another one up here.
I could see them touring with Goldfinger, like that kind of like, yeah, a little bit.
And sure enough, that's exactly what they did. All right, so we're going to play this one now.
Joe Strummer.
I mean, that's straight jam right there. That's the jam.
Yeah.
I'd never play a Rickenbacker.
All right, so that gives you more of an idea, right?
A lot better than the first song. I mean, if you ask me, in the sense of like what they probably wanted to sound like, and
Like-
what the time was when they made this, where they were like, okay, we're throwing this emo weirdness into this jam.
Well, yeah.
Soundbite.
And so reading more descriptions on their Wikipedia, they were compared to Elvis Costello, The Jam, and pop punk groups like Green Day. But I see Crazy Joe say it has a good Charlotte vibe, which Sum 41 very much they were trying to cater towards some of that, I would assume.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like that. So definitely.
Right, and then it was weird, right? Because they released that album 2008, and from that release they went on tour with Goldfinger. They went on the Warped Tour. I'm sure they did most of the Warped Tour that year. Then they did a fall tour that year with Flogging Molly, followed by UK dates with Less Than Jake.
All right.
And then I guess a year later, in August 2009, the drummer, Luke Johnson, was officially announced as the new drummer for Lost Prophets.
Oh, ew.
Wait a minute.
And
Wait.
when that happened,
Wrong turn.
the band pretty much dissolved at that point, and I think it was based on they obviously probably didn't sell enough records, so the label was like,
Right.
we're done kind of working with you. If I had to guess, but isn't that kind of interesting though, right?
It is. So the Lost Prophets, that's an American band, right? Yeah.
No,
so
no,
they-
that's a UK band too.
really.
Wales, I think.
They're singing.
That's
jail.
the guy. Yeah, the singer is a fucking creep bag.
Yeah, he's in prison for 29 years.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So
Fuck that
yeah,
guy.
the drummer essentially, I don't think he was the reason why they ended the group, because by the sounds of it, they officially split up after being dropped by their record label due to the failure of the debut album.
No, that was like weird because like during that time, I mean, what's a failed album? Like sales. Like nowadays, like what is a failed album? Because you can't really sell. I mean, you can sell vinyl, but like it's just such a different world. So like even back then,
And their record label, that record label, I've never even heard of. They should be happy this band's selling records on their fucking label.
My guess is Science Records was probably some sort of offshoot of a major label, is by the sounds of it. I'm sure that John Feldman guy, the producer from Goldfinger, who produced the album, probably had some sort of hand in like,
maybe
it's an indie label, but really it's a major label with the the disguise of that.
It's terrible.
So yeah, I thought that was very, very odd right there, considering all the tours they got right out the gate. Kind of surprised, but then it doesn't end there, because they end up going their ways. The singer does his own thing, and then the guitar player and the bass player, they do their own thing. That's where it gets a little bit interesting, because I didn't realize there was a band called the King Blues. And we're gonna play a track from these guys because this is actually really, really good in my opinion. So let's check this one out.
I was sleeping in a park and selling the big issue. But this ain't no sob stories, I don't reach for the tissue. Cause these Spanish punks, they took me under their wing. Opened the squatting club of bomb and they let me move in. This place was huge, I couldn't believe my luck. But it was no stranger to the odd club. I was sharing a room with this bloke called Jed. He had rotten teeth and the world's worst bed. We had such a time wrapping up all the walls. Patience are fire when the occasion calls. Drinking red wine and coke, playing our music loud. On the old tape player, always sung it proud. Used to see if we had the landlord from the top of the stairs. We could live it forever without a care. So let's have the landlord from the top.
That's good. It's well written. It's well. It's like that sounds like the Rabble. You ever heard of that band, the Rabble? It kind of has that kind of feel a little bit.
I thought that was phenomenal though for a group I've never heard of. I mean that right there alone, I get that. So it's interesting to see that the guitar player and the bass player went on to be part of that. And
cool.
I guess they had some success because the views on that video. I mean, that's like 500,000. And there was another song that was like close to 1 million views. I don't know if it's a current band. I think it might have been, years back. They pretty much started it right after the dissolving.
So that guy singing, he was in the last band?
No, totally different front man. It was just the guitar player and bass player went on.
Okay. Still cool.
No, I mean,
I could listen to that. No problem.
Yeah, it was cool that kind of mixing the hip hop stuff, just the way he was delivering it. And the melody, the chorus is good. It's clever. The lyrics are good. I was like, all right, I'll actually kind of hunt that one out and try to find a CD of that, I think.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Trace back people after they left bands and what they did after.
Yeah, Randall, that's it was Beat Union is the name of the band originally. What up, John? John, you walked into pretty much this band Beat Union, who had one record on a label, and they dissolved when they didn't sell records, which is kind of crazy, But then they went on to do some of them went on to do some bigger stuff. The singer actually went on to a project that's still going on now, and we'll play a song from that. It's called Sharp Shock is the name of the band. And we'll play the tune and see what you guys think about this.
Still all UK, all these?
Yeah, all UK as far as I can tell.
Manchester suburbs, I saw you moving like Bruce Lee. You were scrapping in the youth club, and when them lads raided in on me, yeah, I needed direction, and it was you that showed me the way. From a factory in England, to in a Motown USA, stop the car, look to the left,
Yeah, it's rocking. And the same type of feel of the
original
four-chord,
same type of feel of the original band that he was part of with Beat Union, but it cut out like the emo pop shit that was in there and pretty much just went straight ahead 3-chord jam rock.
I really feel like that first band, when the idea was this, but like a producer or someone said, hey, this is the time we're living in where everyone's doing this, so keep what you have, but let's add that. I feel like that was like probably what happened.
Yeah, I think you're right 100% on that. They were trying to make them something that they weren't. And I guess this band, that one I just showed you, they still tour. I think they were just on tour supporting the Interrupters.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like right there with them. And you looked at that video, there were some people in the crowd they were playing to. So, people must like it when they're on tours with people that like.
Yeah, Joe, I thought the same thing about the band name. It is a weird name, and it doesn't roll off the tongue very easy. Sharp Shock. Sharp Shock.
Sharp Shock, yeah. It's almost like, man, I was in a band called Orange Juice, so there was an indie band. I can't talk shit about bad names, but yeah. Hey, have you listened to Sharp Shock?
Right? It doesn't. I mean, it looks cool on paper, but it's kind of rough.
Sharp Shark. Even if just Sharp would have been fine or something.
So yeah, that's pretty much what those guys went on to do. I think there might have been one or two other little smaller projects they did in between, but those were the main. So you could see the singer went off and pretty much probably had his original vision with that band right there. Then the two other guys were like, you know what, we kind of like this pop stuff, and they did it, I think, a little bit better too by breaking it apart. It made more sense. Then the drummer, obviously lost profits. But this is the funny thing. I didn't realize this. Did research on lost profits. So the singer had all these problems, got in trouble with the law, is in prison. The remaining guys call up Jeff from Thursday, and they start a group together. I did not know this. I had no clue.
Isn't Thursday from like fucking New York or something, or
Jersey? They're
Jersey, yeah.
I don't know how that they must have played shows together and became friends, but
must have.
RBK, were you a fan of any of that emo hardcore stuff that was happening? Yeah,
really. I could listen to some of that stuff, but not a fan. I wasn't buying those albums, to be honest.
There's a couple that were like okay at best, but
I remember like when Panic at the Disco was huge too.
I fucking hate that. I hate fucking Panic at the Disco. And you know what I fucking hate is God, what's that other one everyone likes? Oh, I just can't dig it. Can't take it.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. It just didn't.
It was Radiohead. Where I came from, emo was Radiohead, basically.
Right. Yeah. Jawbreaker.
Smiths and all that coming up, all before that. But in the 90s, like Radiohead was emo, basically.
Yeah, no. Radiohead still holds up today. Oh yeah, John, you're starting your band, Fungus Among Us.
That's pretty funny. That's probably better than Sharp Shark. That's
Sharp Shock, all right.
It's cool. I mean, they sound good. I mean, I bet people are like, you probably should change this.
I want to
get to that level.
I want to start a hardcore beatdown band with Nick, and we're going to call ourselves Lobster.
Oh, that ain't bad.
That ain't bad at all.
Don't steal that either. Nobody better steal that.
I like that. Dude, vocals.
So we're in our last 20 minutes of the show. We've our main event's already done here. We finished it up. Did you guys enjoy doing something like that? Is that something
it was fun.
Continue to do?
It's cool to trace back the lines here, and figure out who played in what. Because I used to do that a lot too, like figuring out, this guy's in this band, but he also plays in this. And like, for instance, a new band that's kind of similar is that Turnstile band that we've been talking about. All those dudes were all in so many projects. Down in Baltimore, they were all in like other projects. They were from like Angel Dust. All those dudes are in that. TUI, and they were in Mindset. All these dudes are all in these all bands that were actually pretty successful, but they're all just like, what's that?
Angel Dust rules. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I sent Dan a track. They're a lot of fun. Definitely different.
I used to love Coke Bus. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, Coke Bus is great. Another Baltimore band. Yeah.
Yeah, the Magruder Grind. The dude that was playing drums for Magruder Grind when I played with them was joined Coke Bus basically.
Yeah, Coke Bus was fucking great. Actually,
both great bands. Got
to play a show at Coke Bus a long time ago.
Awesome.
Are you guys familiar with Lifetime?
Yeah, Lifetime's great. Jersey band.
That's like the one of those early emo bands that probably inspired the whole movement that was going to become the Thursdays of the world and stuff like that. So Terrence, good call on that one.
And was it I think his name's Dan. He played in Kid Dynamite, and he also plays in fucking Painted Black, and he was in Lifetime.
Yep.
For a while.
Butthole Surfers, bros.
Yeah, you talk about names, yeah.
Amazing.
Butthole Surfers.
Such a good band.
It's a great band.
MOD, SOD, it's all good.
OD, everybody.
Terrence was in a doom metal band called Toilet Duck.
God, no problem, man.
Mod? Don't know. MOD?
Not really.
It's good. It's thrash metal stuff. I'm not like a mega fan, but I've certainly spun it before and listened to it, and I appreciate it.
Coke But's a great name, yeah.
Check that out.
Vitamin X, that's a great band too.
Yeah, Vitamin X. I'm very familiar with them.
You know what? Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 Angels and Airwave recently just shared the Turnstile video on his Instagram, and people are like fucking their like views and everything, and their follows went from like they're like a known band within like the indie hardcore scene, but Tom DeLonge shared it just like 2 days ago, and it's just like you go to their page and everyone likes just goes to show you, it's crazy. God, crazy.
It makes sense though. It's very that new song is very It has a lot of pop elements to it that could cross over if you were kind of in between.
It almost sounds like some of it's like Post Malone, like and the vocal, more of the vocals. Like there's time where the music just dies down and he's just doing like a Post Malone style like melody over. If you listen to here's the thing. We never talked about it on the show. Have you guys listened to Post Malone? Any of his stuff? I'm not trying to get into mainstream stuff, but he's one of those artists that actually knows how to play guitar, knows how to play music well. And he does all his own shit. So I just didn't know if you guys ventured into it.
I'll be honest. I have not. I
haven't ventured. I've heard songs. I know he's producer first, so obviously, producers always have to come back. Like Lady Gaga did it. Nerd did it, or what?
Yeah, that dude. Yeah.
There's a point where they're like, "Yo, I'm the shit too."
Kanye West,
and I'm like, yeah, obviously Kanye West.
No, it's weird if you listen to it. If you actually view his shit on YouTube, you're like, wow, this guy's actually legit, like a musician, and he actually has a thrash metal record because he loves thrash metal. That's all recorded, but the record label doesn't want him to release it because he's this big rapper. He loves like thrash metal and he loves like old school outlaw country. It's just weird, but he's just like,
I have not heard the new Bowling for Soup tune.
Getting old sucks, but everyone's doing it. I saw like a recent Bowling for Soup video with Alexa Bliss from the WWE in it. It was kind of weird.
I mean, Bowling for Soup never changes any
No.
of the formulas. You know what it's going to be every time, and I will say they are some of the nicest guys I ever had the chance to hang out with on the Warped Tour. They invited us on the bus. We hung out. We talked music.
That's cool.
Just like no ego, no nothing like that. Just really sweet people.
Texas.
Yep. I did see that with the puppets. All right, so I lied. Crazy Joe's talking about the Post Malone Nirvana tribute. Not bad. A lot of people went nuts over that, but to be honest, I just hate Nirvana, and doing Post Malone doing that made me kind of be like, I really don't care about Post Malone now.
Anybody could play those songs, like he wasn't like impressing anybody by playing Nirvana songs.
But you know what? The thing about Nirvana is all these kids that are like 14, 15, like that's huge because that was something when their parents were young, that was like a big thing. So like it's like, oh, my dad's favorite band when he was my age was Nirvana.
They probably watched it with their parents, like
that is the crazy part that you think about it. Nirvana, like it's all right. Yeah, I get it. If I had a kid when I was 20,
I think I
would be 22 years old, and maybe, Nirvana, he would have grown up if I was a big fan. So I get it. I just, man, there's so much better music out there than Nirvana. And that's the sucky part. It's like the Sublimes of the world, man. It's there's a cult for that shit. And it's like you go to the mall and there's like flag tapestries. Bob Marley, Sublime, Nirvana,
Metallica.
Yeah.
People buy them though. That's the thing. People buy that shit. It's just this. They just like that generic shit. It's not that it's bad, but it's just like, okay, these are the top 10, and it's just that's what it is.
I mean, if he came out and was like, I'm playing these songs by this other band, probably wouldn't have been as popular if it was like something kids don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Nirvana t-shirts, they see it in media. Even though they don't know what the fuck Nirvana is, they've seen Nirvana on something.
I just can't believe that Kurt Cobain, to be honest, as a human that he was, it's still idolized as hard as he is today. Like I understand, like whatever, but like the dude wasn't even really that nice of a dude. Like from what I've heard from a lot of people, like he was just an addict, and I mean I say that as nice as I can, but he was just like everyone was like, you know what I mean? It was like it's not like he was this like dude that was trying to be like groundbreaking. He was just like he bought a Volvo because he thought it was the safest car to drive to his like drug house. He was a madman.
Well, either way, I mean, even Crazy Joe saying, yeah, he grew up in Seattle. Nirvana was seen as Beethoven, and some of that's definitely true.
I still believe Courtney Love has to do with him.
Maybe but to me, Alice in Chains was the band out of all of those that held up the most. In my opinion, all these years later, I can still put on Alice in Chains and be like, man, this is awesome.
Chains was on fucking Headbangers Ball in like 89, 90, right? With Man in the Box. I remember seeing like blown away, and like Nirvana was a while after, so they were kind of first, definitely, but they were metal, not alternative. I don't know. And like,
unfortunately, Alice in Chains opened up the door for a lot of garbage, like the Godsmacks of the world. Like, that's a song title from Alice in Chains, and Godsmack won easily in my top 5 most hated bands of all time.
Good song by Alice in Chains too. Godsmack. It's terrible. Godsmack fucking sucks.
Yeah, bad.
And they're from where you live, so
Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Yeah.
Yep.
Close to you. What's that guy doing?
Well, John, who knows? But John's saying the Nirvana Unplugged came out at Strawberries, which was the local chain here, and all the kids were buying that while he was there to get the new Megadeth.
I was there. I believe it.
I got both. Unplugged was good. You can't lie. Meat Puppets were on that.
No, the Unplugged, I think, probably was the best thing they ever did, really.
Very tasteful, I thought.
Yeah. some cool covers in there. Lincoln agrees about the Alice in Chains.
They're in the same boat. I don't know. I wouldn't say one's better than the other.
Yeah, Crazy Joe's saying he had a friend that did drugs with Lane once. Our old manager for River City Rebels manager was like one of the best friends to Alice in Chains. So he had all these stories of them hanging out, and just he would always tell us all these stories. It was awesome.
I listened to Them Bones the other day too, because that's like one of my favorite songs. It's still heavy as shit. That was so old, so long ago.
I still think the best Seattle band that's not a Seattle band is Dinosaur Jr.
Presidents of the United States of America. Seattle.
Yeah, no, there's some truth there. I just was rocking that album the other day, loving it. My little brother Ryan goes, he didn't even know what it was. He goes, what do you say? Is this Offspring? I'm like, shut your mouth. Randall's co-worker smoked with Hootie and the Blowfish.
They're from here. They're all College Park, Maryland University dudes.
Don't call him Hootie anymore. He's Derek's Ruckers.
Stop bringing up fish on here. Like, we don't want to talk about fish.
It's funny. Yeah. We get a lot of fish talk on here. I found an early Fish CD this week too. I grabbed it, but it was like the demos.
That might actually be worth money.
Yeah, I mean, fish is worth money. Even real fish.
Yeah, John, I remember it now. After you stated the puppets, I do remember. Crazy Joe saying Presidents ruled. They were on the Judgment Night soundtrack. Presidents of the United States, I don't think were on Judgment. That's one of my favorite soundtracks.
That's Helmet, Be Real and Helmet and Sonic Youth.
Biohazard's on there.
Yeah, that's all mashups. Like, Presidents even exist.
Yeah, I don't think it. Yeah.
Judgment Night.
Pearl Jam was on there.
Ugh. No.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about them.
Yeah. What up, Burt Reynolds mustache?
I will say, here's the thing.
Joe's sticking to his story about it. I'm like 99.9% sure. I have it on vinyl, but I'm in my underwear, so I can't run over to the vinyl section.
I'm in my underwear too. I have a question for all three of you guys and the listeners at home. If you had to pick, okay, ready? Out of these 4, Seattle grunge, California hair metal, we're talking 80s, okay, emo, Midwest emo, or New England punk. If you had to pick out of those, and each you can bring one genre.
What is New England punk?
Just Murphys, everything, punk and hardcore, everything.
You can't even put that. That's not even like you can't even put that on the map with it.
Come on, there's a lot of great.
You could put the hair metal versus the grunge. Those two would compare.
Like what year?
All right, we'll do less. I still think New England still has the best punk and hardcore scene ever in the country. Always did. I'm talking like maybe not England, Northeast, the East Coast.
I'll take New York City,
DC, New York, Boston. Just saying, those 3 right there.
Crazy Joe's going hair metal, and I would probably go with that as well.
That's where the Coke's at, bro. So go ahead.
No love for Midwest emo.
No one likes Midwest emo. What are you talking about?
It's a big thing with the kids nowadays, Dan.
Fuck the kids.
But the kids, fuck the kids.
I'm here to teach the kids. I'm not here to hang out with the kids.
Gotta go to school, kids.
Randall's saying heavy metal's pretty good. Yeah. No, heavy metal's great. There's nothing wrong with it.
I feel bad that a lot of those hair metal bands got a bad rap. Some of them were really fun and good, I
was just walking some Dawkins the other day.
They're just worried about their hair too much.
I mean, the Dawkins stuff holds up. It does.
Poison, too.
I've never really
True.
Dawkins. It's so weird. I've never listened to Dawkins.
You want to know a weird fact?
What?
Was it Great White, the band that with the fire? Was it Great? Yeah, or White Snake? It was Great White.
Oh,
wasn't
Great White, Grand
Yeah.
Champ.
Once
No,
and twice
Great
shy.
White. That all that shit happened like 8 houses down from my grandfather's house, my Pepe's house in West Warwick.
Oh, no kidding. That is a fun
Yeah,
fact.
like 8 or 9 houses. Yeah, like my grandfather lived like right on the outskirts of Arctic, and that shit happened like just like literally right down the road, that was fucking crazy. If there's a documentary about that, it's really scary how it happened, and they didn't stop playing. They didn't know how bad it was, and it was like too fucking
Yeah, the
late.
shit went up quick, and they probably didn't even get to the last song. Once bitten, twice shy, baby.
Come on, damn it!
They probably didn't play it. They probably didn't play it. And guess what? They didn't even write that song. So their
Who
biggest
wrote it?
hit was a cover song that Ian Hunter wrote for Mott the Hoople. So take that.
Yep.
Well, what did Mott the Hootle fucking get out of it? None.
They weren't even really hair metal. They were kind of like blues, hard rock. Great
Oh
White.
yeah, they're like a bar band that kind of grew their hair out, and they're like, we can fit in with this.
Yeah,
We
they
can do
just
this.
fit in. I guess they weren't really that stuff.
Dream Warriors, that Dawkins song on Nightmare on Elm Street,
Amazing.
so good. That's probably my favorite, but
Dream.
so awesome. Yeah, the Station Nightclub Fire. Yeah.
Yeah, right down from my grandfather's house. That was crazy.
Joe, how do you know this? That was quick.
Whoa, Jesus, Joe.
Yeah. CC DeVille and his coke habit, I'm sure was pretty.
Did he have a coke habit? No.
No.
Everybody does coke. Stop.
You know what's so funny? I think it's true. This guy on the street asked for me the other day. I was at Stewart's, like straight up, was just like, "Hey, man." I was like, "I don't have any, but you're probably in the right spot. Just stay here." I told him.
They're like, bro.
Someone has coke here coming out of this gas station.
Speaking of something crazy here, NG says, "How does Quiet Riot still tour without any original members?" I mean, that is crazy.
It's kind of Mushroom Head, right? They're the same.
I mean, but the thing is, NG just said, "Isn't that just a cover band?" To begin with, they were a cover band. Both their hits were written by Slade, so like they were a cover band pretty much to begin with. So fuck Quiet Riot, in my opinion.
Isn't fucking Dead Kennedys the same thing? No original members, or
No, they have. It's all the original members, but Jello.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Quiet Riot 3 on vinyl. Not good, but I just called it. I'd never seen it.
I mean, the novelty is there. I get it, if you heard it. But once you figure out what's really going on, you're like, it's kind of lame.
He had like no hair here on the first album, and then all of a sudden he has hair like 2 albums later.
That's pretty good.
He spent some money on them. Whatever. Needles in your head.
Joe's saying he watches a lot about the tragedy,
Yeah, it's crazy. That shit had like problems from the start. They didn't have anything. Like this was like rogue outlaw fucking venue. They had nothing there. That shit went up so quick. A lot of people did. I watched one too. A lot of people didn't know like how bad like a fire happened. It wasn't like, oh, fire, run. He thought it was part of the show. So they're sitting there, and then it was like too fucking late. Crazy.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing the news of that and the fire just blazing out the front, and just bodies piling up in the front there because they, go to get out the door and just cause this, wedge of people. Man, it would suck to die at a Great White show. No, thank you. Nope,
terrible.
Not gonna happen.
Guys, a lot of great fucking. I like this. Now, you don't think we're going to get flagged? Should we get flagged now? How can YouTube flag? So how does flagging happen on YouTube?
It'll probably get flagged. I don't know how it works. Like they'll monetize this video and I don't know how that works, but yeah, copyright will happen because I obviously played some music and videos. And but we'll see. Maybe we get away with it. I don't know. Hopefully.
I've seen other YouTube people play like second clips. Like here's 5 seconds of this, and they don't. And nothing happens.
We're rebels, though, so we're gonna do that shit. Obviously.
Burt Reynolds' mustache. It's like Black Flag touring with just Greg Ginn. It's true. Yeah, very true.
Let me say something about Black Flag real quick. I spun both sides of In My Head. Black Flag, super underrated, by the way. I was listening to that yesterday. I was like, fuck, no one gives a fuck about this record. It's awesome. Saltines, Ryan. Miss you, buddy. Saltines. Just straight up.
That's not even a chip. That's a cracker, huh?
Old cracker.
Cracker.
Ryan, I love you, buddy. Well,
what's up, Ryan?
So I think that's going to wrap up this week's episode. We've hit our hour mark. We had some fun. We learned about Beat Union from the UK and their one album and
Not bad,
the bands
man.
they did afterwards. We got to talk about Great White. We talked about how Nirvana sucks.
That's gonna be every episode.
And Alice in Chains rules.
Yep, we got
Do a show on Alice in Chains. Like, come on, guys.
Next week, I'm not sure what we're gonna do because it seems like the day of the show, I pull something out of my ass.
My revenge.
I want to do my revenge, but I don't. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to
Less blood, more fucking blood. Less talk, more action.
Maybe I'll get a guest for next week, and we can interview some people. Would that be fun? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll line someone up. How about that?
Dispenser. Text them.
I was thinking Gavin Compton, but
yes, we'll get Gavin. I love Gavin.
So, yeah, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This was fun. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7:00. Good night.